I'm Jeremy Hickerson, and this is All of Life. When Michael Palmisano did the reaction video to the Julian Lage Etude, he asked the question, he mentioned how he wished he could get Lage in the studio and ask him what was going through his mind. And so you've just got all this stuff that sounds kind of complicated, but it really makes sense harmonically. The hardest part, I think, the most unusual sounding part is early on when he goes. And that, I mentioned in my analysis, I'm thinking E flat there, but I got to thinking about it. It's not E flat, it's a D sharp, the same thing, but it's actually a B. It's got the notes of that, if you want to look at that. There's the A, there's the G, and there's the third. So you've got your F sharp, F major, that was F sharp minor, F sharp major, then you go to the so you've gone to B now, so F sharp to B, and then to E minor. The second one gets even weirder with altered notes, but it still goes through a chord progression that makes sense. It's just using some flat 5 of the A and the flat 9 of the A in there, in the melody notes that he's playing, in the, I guess you'd call them, maybe it's more like the improvising notes he's playing, but the melody he plays over that, the lines, makes sense over normal chords in this key, mainly D, A, E minor, E, sometimes B. And so you really don't have anything all that strange here. And what's going through Lage's mind, in my opinion, is what chord he's on. And it just so happens that his genius is he's taken essentially a jazz guy playing over changes and turned it into a classical guitar piece, a Spanish classical guitar piece from the mid-20th century, because that's what it sounds like to me. He's using a lot of devices from classical guitar, like this. That thing is straight out of the Segovia Fernando Soar studies book. That sort of a, and then this thing. That's got a classical guitar voice sound to it, to me. This pedal. That sounds very classical. All right, and so I've broken this down, every note of the song in the part to follow. I was playing unamplified, so, you know, I believe you can hear it. I hope you can. As I did this, I did it in 5 sessions, about 2 hours each time, and then at the end I recorded an unamplified thing. I was just sitting there with my guitar at the computer, just for my own use in case I forgot what I had just figured out, but also I thought I could put it on this video. Maybe somebody else could benefit from it. All right, thanks a lot, and I hope you can dig into this and enjoy it the way I did. Separated. Instead of root third, it's root fifth. Everything's separated by one of the notes of the triad. So it walks it up from the D and the A, F sharp and the D, A and the F sharp, D and the A, and then we move positions to get the F sharp and the D back down to the 7th position again. And now we hit the B flat. It's sort of like, I think it's kind of like a C7, except other times we feel like a G minor, so maybe it's a G minor with a third in the bass, but we hit the B flat here. We hit the top triangle of the C7. If if you want to look at it that way. And then we go up in, thirds with the B flat ring. And then we go hit the D and the G, hammer the F sharp, the triplet, and then we repeat. And then we move all the way up to here. So the B flat is hit by the one finger. And so we move the position from the 8th to the 11th. And then we hammer that. Okay. Open D, A on the B string, F sharp on the E string. So we're walking down in separated notes of the triad again. So the F sharp and the A, the D and the F sharp, the A and the D. And then we walk the bass line down on the D string. 9th position. Keep the melody note the same, F sharp, down to the B on the D string. And then melody note comes down to the E, but now we pick up the A on the A string. We move to the D of the melody note with the G in the bass. And then down to the 3rd. We sort of got a D chord. And now we move to sort of a G minor. B flat on the B string, G on the G string. The second voice, the G moves to the F. Now the melody note is G on the G string, and the second note is D on the D string, and then to the F sharp. So, and then we go. The melody note moves over to the D, so the melody notes are the G minor triad. So we get 3rd to the root on the G minor triad there. And then we go to the, we're moving down to the F sharp. We're heading for the D sort of, so we go. So we want the next note to the B. 2 half steps up from the F sharp, so we go to the, and we're headed for the, to the D, we think. But then he does a false cadence, so we go. And then he sort of plays around with the, he goes. So he does this, he does the half step movement again, and now we're on sort of an A. Going back to the D. So one last time on that. And we're back to the D. All right, we have the weirdest part here. It starts off in kind of a D. And so to break that down a little bit, it starts off in the D. That's up, you know, the major seventh. So it's diatonic, not dominant, I guess. And there's the, I guess you'd have to say the flatted second, since we don't have a dominant, it can't be the flatted ninth. Yeah, so like I said, this is the weirdest part. I don't totally follow what he's doing. I see some of it, and I think maybe some of my notes might be wrong. With these, so far they're right, though. And this is sort of an F minor. You could look at it that way. This F sharp minor could still sort of be in D, the D diatonic. If it is, though, it's a flat 5. So again, what I want to do is have him go from D to E flat to E, and then, and that's like an F sharp. There's the third. So if we went to D to E flat to E to F sharp, and then we're going to go back to E minor again here with the seventh in the, and then, but there we're sort of from E minor to A, I'd say, with the C sharp there. It's like an A7. And then up to here we go to this. We got the A still. A. And what those are, I mean, that's like, that'd be like the A major 7th, E major 9th, flat 5, I guess, sharp 4. And then that little part ends. And so we've got these two notes I'm very unsure of. This bass note, I just don't think that's right, but I can't know. I tried a whole bunch of other stuff. None of it seemed to sound right. Somehow you got the third ringing over here, or the third if it's E, because we came from the A7. You could say that here's the E minor 7 with the 7th in the bass. A7. And then we'll suppose we're still A7, I guess we've got the major 7th up here. I'm thinking that feels more like an E with the 4th suspended, moving up to the 5th. And so that sort of makes sense with the moving bass notes. You've got a moving melody note here on top of the chord. So and then the moving bass. That's the only kind of logic I can make out of that. But this bass note here doesn't really seem right, but I don't know what else to try. I tried various other things and they all seemed wrong too. What I'm hearing is this. I'm hearing ba, ba, but that would be a unison here. And I know it's not a unison. I don't know, maybe it is. As he moves up it quick enough that you can hear other notes ringing, I'm not sure. And let's suppose we go back to E now with dominant with the 7th in the bass. like that. So I guess maybe I'll play that. I don't think that's what he's playing though. This one is the end of the last one, which I finally decided he really was playing an octave interval on that last part. So it goes and then up to the G sharp octave. Like that. And now we're into the next part. So we ended on kind of an E, the G sharp, and now we go back to D with the F sharp in the bass, open D string. We go up in divided intervals again. They're like sixths or something. It's leaving out one of the notes of the triad. So F sharp, D, A, F sharp. This is from the bass note up. B, open G, C sharp, A, D, open B, F sharp in the bass. Slide up to the A triad there, C sharp in the bass. So again. And then we do sort of a reprise of that. But this time the notes are different. And he's using a lot of altered scale notes this time, much more than last time, but he's still in D here, so D. D, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, D, F sharp, up to the G sharp. Now we're in E. So we were in D, now we're in E. Now we're in E minor. We were the major. To the minor third. Da, 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 da. I think that's an A. I think we're sort of in A now. E, B, A, C sharp. To the minor third. Now we're going to be in A, B, A, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, D sharp. So that's the D sharp. I guess you could call that the flat 5 of the, we're still in A. And now here's the flat 9. B flat A, E flat, B flat A, go back to flats. I'm playing the A bass note, but it's not really there, so we went from the A, flat 5, flat 9, root, 7th, F sharp, E. So that's the 6th, 5th, E flat, open D, and now to the C sharp, which is the 3rd. So we're still in A, to the 7th. We just walk up the scale. Half step, approach note to the 5th, and then we've got this pedal with the C sharp pedal. B, A. I guess I'll call out sharps now. A, C sharp, A sharp, C sharp, B, C sharp, B sharp, C sharp. Switch fingers, C sharp. Now coming back down, C up to the D here. Now switch fingers, B with the 3rd finger, so we can reach A. And then we do an A9. with the fifth in the bass, E, B, C sharp, G. So let's play that whole thing one more time. We just did this. And then we go to the unison. Sort of an E that we're in there. Now we go to the D, F sharp in the bass. Split triad, so more like sixth apart. Up to an A. And then we go, we're back to our little A to D like the earlier one, but this one will be different. Let me try that again. Dang, I almost had it. Okay, the 12th fret part going into the part. So you've got the A in the bass, the F sharp with the little finger on the D string. So that's your motif with the bass note. The melody up here on the bounce to the low E note, back to the A. Then it does that and changes it a little. And then it goes to the, what we have is a C sharp there, the bass on the A string. Jump over to the same F sharp like before, down to the B, to the A. And then we shift positions down to the 7th fret with the C sharp on the D string with a little finger. So now we're going C sharp D, C sharp D. So we've shifted it down there and we're doing a similar thing. And then we move it down to the 5th fret. A in the bass with the G, then on the D string. D on the G string. So we got the suspended down to the C sharp. Strum the whole thing. Let's repeat that one more time. 3 times into the E string. Repeat. And then again. Change it a little bit. Shift down to the 7th position. Down to the 5th position with the open A string. And now we go into this thing on D. So we went basically to an A7 there. We were up here with on a sort of an A up here. went to an E minor there when we shifted to 7th position. And then we went, so E minor to the A. It's just basically, 5-1. So A minor, go to the 5 chord. We're on the 1, A major, I'm sorry. So A major, we go to the 5 chord, then from that 1. And then down back to the 1 again. And that leads us to the D. We've got a voicing here. It's a 5th fret bass note on the A string. Sort of a jazz major 7th. Try it. Here's the major, here's the major 7th. Here's the 6th. We just walk that. We're in D. And then we go to an E minor with the 7th in the bass. Keep that D bass note. Got the D. I'm sorry, we've got the C on the G string, D in the bass on the A string, the E on the D string. We're going to walk this down. Now that's a D minor right there. The E minor with a D in the bass. Got a suspended note, but now we're a straight D minor with the 7th in the bass. And then here we go from that E minor to a D7 with the F sharp in the bass with the thumb. And then he goes from that D7 to a G. So here we go from that D7 to a G. And then he turns that into, it's on the B melody note, he turns it into a B major chord. And then he just slides that up 7th in the bass. It's got an E kind of with a 7th in the bass. Repeat. E minor with the 7th in the bass. And this time from the G to an E. And then he hits the... All right, just to start it off, I told you wrong on that last part where he does the little... I said to use the 7th in the bass there, and what he really does is he uses the G sharp in the bass. So, and just do whichever one you like. I kind of like the 7th in the bass myself, but that's not what he's playing. All right, this next part is really cool, and I didn't even realize how cool it was until I started breaking it down and started thinking about the bigger picture of what he's doing with this piece, what key it's in, what key it's going back to. Anyway, he's just bringing it all back home in this next part, and you'll see that right at the end. And I'm serious, it moved me to tears when I was breaking it down and I got to that part. And that did not happen when I heard him play the original thing, because it was just beautiful and I was just entranced by it, but I didn't realize what it was doing as much as I did once I started breaking it down here. So anyway, he ended really strong on that E chord. He was going... And that's because he's changing keys to A. He's going to be in A now for a while. But he immediately goes to the C sharp minor, which is A if you think about it. If you walk the harmonized scale. So it's and you'll see that it's an A a little bit more easily as we go deeper into it. So he moves up to this thing, and he's got these fourths in the melody. You count your measures, it's in 3 if you lose track of how many hits on the bass note it is, like I just did there. So you go. 2, 3, 1, 2, ba ba ba. Repeats that little last part twice the second time. Now he goes to a chord change to D. And so why is that? That's the fourth. If you're in A, you go. It's got the C sharp there for the major seventh. And now the cool part comes as he clearly is in A where he goes. All right, so let's get some of those bass notes here. On this part, we got the G sharp, F sharp, E, and we're hitting the melody note each time. So G sharp, F sharp, E, D, A, down to the B minor chord. And then we've got the little finger on the ninth, the C sharp. And then here we've got the octave A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D, A, down to the B minor. And then it goes, this is the best part here, where he brings it down back to D. Yeah, he's back home. Same run. D, C sharp, B, A, G, B, and then he goes to the E7. So he went to the D, and then to the E minor, and then the notes half step apart as the device we've seen often in this song, or maybe one step apart, and then he strums it, walking up to the G, and then to the A, just the single note, not the strum, as he's bringing it down. So he's come all the way back into D, and then he goes to the A, leading into the very first section again. He does that part twice. Does it again twice the next time. And then the rest is the same. And then he ends on a D, which is just the open A string, the open D string, and the D. And he lets those lower ones ring, and then he goes up to the A and the F sharp. And that's the song.